Hi everyone. In the last video, we talked about the basics of what a SQL database is. In this video, we're going to be talking a little bit more about some advanced techniques with the database, which will translate nicely to when we start talking about actually writing the database in our Python application. So, in this video, we're going to talk about the relationships between tables. I alluded to this in the last video, but let's think about it from the standpoint of our forum application. So in the forum, we're going to have a few different tables to keep track of, right? So let's say that we have a user table, we have a posts table, and let's say we also have a table storing usernames. Normally, we'd probably just make the username a field or attribute of the user table, but let's just for the sake of argument say that we have a separate table for usernames. So the thing is that when I create a post, it has to be linked to a specific user. So a post and a user are inherently linked because let's say that we're using our system and we want to create a user profile page. Then I want to easily be able to find all the posts created by a single user. And on the flip side, when I make a posts page, I want to be able to say what user made each individual post. However, the key insight to realize here is that while a user can make many posts, like this, let's say the user made this post and this post, a post can only belong to a single user. So what this is called is a foreign key relationship. Foreign, it's so hard to write with a trackpad, but okay. So this is called a foreign key relationship, where essentially the post has a foreign key relationship to the user. So this is important because in our database, when we design the schema for the database, we're going to be making these relationships. So if a post has a foreign key relationship to the user, that means that if I have a post, I know exactly what user wrote that post. But if I have a user, then it wrote multiple posts. So when I try to get the post that the user wrote, it would give me a bunch of posts because they wrote multiple. So that's one type of relationship. Another type of relationship you can imagine is when it's, so this is actually called a one to many relationship, one to n, or one to many. Another type of relationship you can have is a one-to-one relationship. So let's say that, so every user should have a unique username. What that means is that if I give you a specific user, I should know exactly what username it's referring to. And if I give you a username, I should know exactly what user it's referring to. So this is what we call a one-to-one relationship, because if I, for every one thing in the user table, we should have one exact username to map to. So in Django, we're going to call this as a one-to-one relationship, this being a foreign key and this being a one-to-one relationship. Now the final thing which we essentially have is a many-to-many relationship. So let's say that we have another table which is blogs. Or let's say that inside of our forum, there's different discussion channels. So like a user could be in multiple discussion channels, but a discussion channel also contains multiple users. So this user could be in both of these discussion channels. However, there maybe is another user, let's say over here, who also is in this one. So in this situation, we could have, if I give you a specific user, there are many discussion forums that they could be a part of. And if I give you a specific discussion forum, there's many users they could be a part of. So what we call this is a many-to-many relationship. And so this specifically is something which you use not all the time. The most often thing we'll use is a foreign key relationship because the foreign key basically defines like an ownership over something. And in our databases, we're often going to have people like having ownership. Like for instance, a user owns the post, or a user owns a like that they made. But a many-to-many relationship is often when you're trying to put people into groups. So if they're going into some sort of thing like a forum or a specific channel, and so on and so forth. So just to recap, in this video we talked about the one-to-one relationship, the one-to-many relationship, and the many-to-many relationship. In the next video, we're going to design the database for our forum, And when we do that, we're going to actually write the Python code to indicate what the schema is, and then we'll actually explicitly show how to make these relationships using Python.